A new dawn, a new day. And what better way to start off the morning than with some good old gaming news? Whoa. 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 What is this? An HD Wind Waker remake for the Wii U? This is a joyous event. But how shall we celebrate it? I know. How about a month filled with Zelda? And I can call it the Month of Zelda.
Please don't sue me, Peanut Butter Gamer.
But how shall we start this beautiful month of Links and Zeldas? What better way to celebrate the HD Wind Waker remake than playing the original game? I can see it now. The memories are already coming back. What was that? Whatever. Must have been nothing. Well, let's get this review on the road, shall we? Bam! Zelda! Yeah! Title screens and intros. And what Zelda game doesn't have them? You know what else every Zelda game has? The ability to let you name your character. But what are we gonna name him? Oh my god. I know. Ganon! Yeah, let's name him Ganon. Cause you know, that won't cause some confusion later into the game. Alright, let's get down to the breaking down of the video. Yeah! The story! Wind Waker starts off by giving you a nice little explanation on the history of Hyrule, and what events proceeded after Ocarina of Time. It also gives a quick example of why the fuck this thing is all covered by this shit. And then we get thrown right into the game. We start our journey on our brave hero's birthday, where he is turning the ripe young age to be considered a man. Link must also wear the hero's clothes on this day to celebrate his coming of age. But when he's getting ready to start the celebrations for his birthday, it is suddenly interrupted by this giant bird thing. Who knows? It ends up stealing Link's little sister, though. But our little badass Link friend guy over here says, "Yo, I'm not gonna put up with this shit. I'm gonna go save my sister in this big-ass scary fortress." And after some snake-ass shit, and some annoying devils, fuck! We find our sister, and before we can save her, there goes Link. But don't worry, we wake up safe and sound on a talking boat, and he pretty much tells us, "Hey dumbass, you can't beat that guy till you beat all these dungeons and shit." And there you go, that's the jizz of the story. Find your sister, kill Ganon. Not much of a story, but Zelda isn't all about the story. It's about the gameplay, the dungeons, the adventure. So, let's take a look at it all. The gameplay for Wind Waker is just off. Don't get me wrong, I love the game, but there are so many things that are wrong with it and disappoint me. But that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to tell you all the mistakes and awesome things that this game did right and wrong. Alright, so let's start off with the basics. How Link controls. Link controls like he does in every Zelda game, flawlessly. He moves perfectly in any direction you tell him to, and it doesn't feel or look sluggish at all. Tell Link to roll, he rolls. Tell Link to walk forward, no problem. Tell Link to put on heavy-ass iron boots and start doing backflips, I don't see anything wrong here. But with the good, there comes the bad. And the camera in this game is the baddest it could be. You really think after 2 other 3D Zelda games, they would have had this whole third-person camera thing figured out by now. But I guess not. I can't even start to explain the amount of times I died, fell, or just got lost due to the camera. But, I don't know. Maybe it's just my crappy GameCube controller that caused the problem. Now, on the other hand, the lock-on system has been very much improved, making it a lot easier to follow enemies around or lock onto multiple enemies one after another, keeping the pace of the game really fast and in your face. It also really makes it feel like anytime you get hit, it really was your fault and not the game's. So control-wise, the game feels great. Yes, there are some small faults here and there, but in general, it feels good. But control isn't everything. You need some gameplay in your game too, because you know, that's what games are for you to play the game. Gameplay. Gameplay! Look at it. Look at it! It's awesome, it's adventurous, it's awesome! What? Something's coming back to me. No. Oh god, no. Not Tingle. Not Tingle! And this is where the game disappoints me. This is where I'm gonna start letting out all of my rage. This is where you're going to see everything this game has done to make me despise playing Wind Waker. Tingle and the Triforce, in my eyes, but maybe not all of your eyes' but in my eyes, in my opinion, this is just padding for this game. The constant searching for Triforce maps, and then having to search and scavenge around the giant world map to find a total of 3,184 rupees to pay for Tingle to decipher the maps for you, just so you can go around to search for the actual Triforce pieces, is just plain old padding bullshit. Oh, and if you agree with me about how the Triforce part of the game was bad, just be happy that you didn't have the Japanese release, because they got it even worse. The search for the Triforce charts were even more tedious. For example, to get one of the charts, you had to find a chart that led to a chart, that led you to another chart, that led you to another chart, that finally led you to the actual Triforce chart. The last problem I have with the game is the lack of dungeons. Zelda games have always been about the dungeons and temples, and this game has a massive 2 dungeons and 3 temples. This is not including Ganon's Tower or any side quests. So let's take a deeper look into this. Ocarina of Time had 3 dungeons and 5 temples, making a total of 8, almost twice as much as Wind Waker. Yes, Majora's Mask only had 4 temples, but Majora's Mask is really based on the Mask side questing. And I guess Wind Waker's giant map and exploration can make up for this lack of temples, but in my mind, Wind Waker's side quests just aren't fun or worth the effort. Plus, there's a whole other overworld under the water that they could have expanded and used to add more temples and other cool things, instead of just being used as a short, boring path to Ganon's Tower. The dungeons themselves, though, were actually really fun, and the puzzles were really challenging, so I did find myself having quite a good old time while in the dungeons. Except a few parts on the levels where you had to escort the sages. But what got on my nerves the most was the bosses in this game. Almost every single one of them is a cut and paste boss. Here, just take a look. Goma is equal to Goma. Kale Demos is equal to Baranat. Gondan is equal to Bongo Bongo. And Malgira is equal to Marfa. Yes, there are some minor differences in these bosses, but come on, I would like some originality to my boss fights. I'm not going to lie to you though, the final boss, who is obviously Ganon. No, not that Ganon, this Ganon. Fuck, why did I name Link Ganon? Most confusing story ever. Anyways, back on track. In this game, Ganon has many new forms, if you count his puppet counterpart he's controlling, which varies from a giant Ganon, a giant spider, and a giant worm snake thing. And last but obviously not least is Ganon himself. Now I'm going to go out and say that this is one of my favorite fights with Ganon in any Zelda game. The fight is set up so perfectly and brilliantly, you can't help but get sucked right into it. When you finally get to the top of the tower and meet Ganon face to face, he starts off with a beautiful speech that actually has you feeling somewhat sorry for him. Until he bitch slaps you across the face to get the last piece of the Triforce so he can rule the land in darkness.
Darkness, darkness, Darkness. 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 Darkness.
But the King of Hyrule is there to save the day by wishing Hyrule to be washed away under the sea forever. This is where you actually get to see Ganon start to break down mentally, as he knows he has been defeated, so all he can do is laugh. As the battle commences, the sea above you starts to open up, and the water starts slowly flooding Hyrule, making a beautiful scene for this battle to take place in. The battle itself is really challenging, taking skills learned throughout the game to take Ganon down. And when you finally land that final blow, by damn is it satisfying and sexy! But let's switch up the topics a bit, and get into what I think the main selling point of this game is. And that is the exploration, of course. Now obviously this game is heavily based on exploration. When you have such a big world map to explore, and so many different islands to check out, it leaves you with hours of sailing and sea searching for your next adventure. And really, that's what this game wanted you to have. A great adventure. Yes, the dungeons and story are usually a main point in a Zelda game, but I feel like this game really wanted you to feel the adventure, and it sure did accomplish that. It was never a funner time than sailing the seas and finding a new island to explore and conquer. But lastly, I want to talk about this game's soundtrack. Everything really fits the idea of this game, from the sea sailing song to all the different dungeon themes. Everything just feels right at home. The other thing is, with such a big world and no loading screens, they did a great job mixing all the tracks together, so when you leave one place and enter another, you barely notice the music even changed. The new instrument in this game, ironically called the Wind Waker, allows you to take control of the winds to your advantage. Need to teleport to an island? Easy, just use the Wind Waker. Need to change the way the wind is blowing to sail to a distant land? Easy, just use the Wind Waker. Need to assume control of another person's body and make them do your bidding for the rest of their life? The Wind Waker's just the item for you. The Wind Waker does come with its faults though, and this fault comes in the way of an unskippable cutscene. And this isn't the skip it once and it's over kind of cutscene. You literally have to watch this thing hundreds of times as you play the game, and it very quickly gets on your last nerve. All around, Wind Waker is a good game, but I really don't think it can stand up to the predecessors, and I really don't think it deserves the kind of review that some gaming websites have given it. But if I had to give this game a rating, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I'm giving it this rating for its lack in the main story, and the amount of padding onto the game. But there is a lot, like I stated before, to save this game, and that all comes in a beautiful little package known as exploration and fun. As stated before, this is my big ol' month of Zelda.
Please don't sue me, Peanut Butter Gamer.
So my next video will obviously be Zelda related, and it's going to be a top 10. So for you guys out there who have been looking forward to another top 10 from me, there's one in the works. And those of you who like Zelda and want to see more of my stuff coming soon, like me, and hit the subscribe button. It helps share me around. And don't you want to share me with your friends? Friends. And if you want to see my last two videos, click the links here and here. Also check out the description for links to the music I use in my videos, or to my Facebook and Twitter if you want to stalk me. Don't worry, I won't bite. You can stalk me all you want, sexy. Wink wink.